Welcome to our next episode of Faith That Works. I'm Father Matthew from the East Lansing community, and we've been going through the various parts of the Mass. Today, we're going to talk about the homily. This is the preaching part. We mentioned in our last episode the importance of the Word of God being proclaimed, and now we have the priest or deacon coming forward and really asking the question, what is the Word of God saying to us, to our community? Because the readings, as we hear them, may be different than the way they're heard in another country or in another culture. And so each time we're asked to look at the Holy Scriptures and ask the question, what is the Lord saying to us? How is our life supposed to be affected? Maybe it's a word of comfort. Maybe it's a word of challenge. Maybe it's a word that helps to deepen our faith in who God is in our lives. Now, I do want to point out an important distinction. It used to be referred to that the preaching at the Mass was called the sermon. Now, the reason why it was called the sermon is the priest or deacon were basically free to preach on whatever they wanted. So we could have readings about Jesus healing the sick, and I could stand up and preach about tithing or about we need a bigger parking lot. I could preach about anything I wanted to preach about, something going on in the news. But now, since Vatican II, the Church has asked us to focus. What is the Word of God that has been proclaimed saying to us? And so we don't simply call it a sermon, we call it a homily. And what it means is, I'm not free in my preaching to preach on whatever I want. I have to be guided by the readings for the day or the feast of the day. If it's the feast of St. Francis or the Immaculate Conception, I can preach on the meaning of our feast, but it always has to be rooted in the Word of God that has been proclaimed in the community. And so hopefully the priest or the deacon is listening to what God is saying and is preaching that which will help those who are gathered or those who are watching by way of our outreach Mass to really hear the Word of God and apply it to their lives. The homily is really an important part of the Mass to help us take our faith, to take what we have heard and to apply it to our lives. And that's why we always refer to our faith that works.